The oldest that they could not watch it with me. That's
Harley
cartoons.
Quinn or
Yeah.
It's a little much.
It's one of the R-rated cartoons.
Is it live action or cartoon?
cartoon?
Cartoon. It's
Cartoon,
very
cartoon.
much in the like old like Justice League, Batman, Superman style of animation, but
Drew.
it's wholly irreverent.
Drew, you
In
would
the best
love
way.
how they portray Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah,
I'm certain that he
that's
would.
all those. When you've seen Commissioner Gordon gifs that we've posted in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
where he's like unhinged.
I'm gonna fuck you to death with bullets.
Yeah, there's a whole Shadows character premise based on that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm actually designed a character for that one. But yeah, it makes fun of everything. Like no DC characters actually safe from their
Well, the
ridicule.
implication that Constantine had been in a relationship with King Shark
Mm-hmm.
and someone else.
Yeah.
We're going to be giving show recommendations. The Orville is very good. I just watched the last episode of the season/series. We're not sure if it's going to be a fourth season, but it was good. I was laugh out
I
loud.
watched the first few of that. That was good.
I caught the
Keep
last.
it up.
I've managed to watch most of the 2 seasons in the last 2 days.
It's a good show. They really get their feet under them in the second season. And then in the
As
third
a
season,
ding.
every episode
Perfect
is
way
like
to
a movie.
level up.
We are so fucked. It does seem to portray Shadows pretty well.
Yep, it kind of does.
And the fact that Gordon is just so sad. Like, oh, Sad Bane. Let's not forget Sad Bane.
Oh yeah, sad thing.
I'm going to burn this coffee shop to the ground. I asked for a latte with 2 sugars.
Bump, bump, bump.
All right. Wow, gang's all here. Isn't that great? We've got our name tags up and everything. Look at that stuff.
So cool.
Oh.
Oh, episode 10. Congratulations on milestone, Kent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're the first
You're
person.
the only
to hit-
one who gets it.
You get milestone 10.
That's after this session, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Major milestone.
It's going to be great.
He's gonna get that gravy.
I should Inky missed the kitten, so I'll bring her back. There we go. She's all mellow right now. She's just so happy.
Kitten Cam.
Yeah,
That needs to be a thing to spend points. Kitten cam.
As long as we're doing this.
right.
Yeah, just as long as it's not
In the
my
middle of
cat.
the fight. Kitten cam! Alright, I'll be right back.
You
My
know,
scruffy
I
cat
think
cam. Yo, go
doesn't
get the cat.
OnlyFans have
no,
the same thing?
Claude me.
What fans have the same thing?
I said, doesn't
OnlyFans?
doesn't OnlyFans have the same thing? I said.
Oh wow.
Oh, oh.
There's not a platinum dick award for that, but that's like there should be some kind of like terrible pun award. What should I call the title of this episode?
Sometimes monsters
Shit ain't
are
right.
human.
Yeah, I mean we're getting a full frontal on Drew this evening, I think. Or Max, I mean. Wow. Okay. Way to bring the mood down there, D.
It's what I do.
Gotta love those snake people.
All right. Well, I think that we are all pretty much ready to kick this off.
True enough. Oh, excuse me. Burped right in the kitten's ear. Her ears twitched when I did it.
Who wants to run through a quick recap?
Let's see here.
Running. We are going on a weird camping trip in the forest.
Yeah. Well, we got to meet or do a lot of stuff with Maxwell, which was cool. Basically, he was trying to find information on us, I mean all you guys, and he went for a walk and found himself near or going towards Central Park, and then he called up Hugh, and Hugh being helpful as always is. Jesus. The McDonald's with the text you had earlier was hilarious.
Right.
I'm loving it.
Oversize me.
Yeah. Anyway, Hugh started just spilling the beans on exactly where and what we're doing.
He gave
Again.
up his social security number, his date of birth.
Like,
his bank account
like if there was a
information.
checklist of exactly what should be Drew, with your background, it looks like you're eating Night City.
Oh, it does. That's really funny.
You are Galactus, destroyer of worlds.
Anyway,
And then Hugh had also may have, well, he unintentionally revealed things to some rather interesting zealots.
right,
Yeah.
that was before.
And
That's
we
what
are
led us
now-
to go camping.
And we are now
He
going
was
into
outing
the forest
people.
to
Yeah.
now going into the forest to hide out and figure out what we need to do.
This reminds me of Into the Woods.
Oh, very good. Into the woods, into the woods. So, and you, Maxwell had nailed his vanish check, and Hugh and Malcolm did not reach the
We're
threshold
not gonna see him. Yeah.
for detection. So Maxwell gets to kind of choose when he becomes visible to them.
And that's what the last thing we did is that we were gonna go meet Max to go bring him back to the thing because everyone else besides Hugh realized that Max is not it's probably not trustworthy at this point.
And Danny's pulling weeds.
Yeah, you're pulling
Something.
weeds.
Danny's doing.
They're trying to do the wax on, wax off thing.
I was
Like
gonna say,
trying to
yeah.
he's
use your
getting-
metric.
He's getting Mr. Miyagi.
I
Yeah.
rolled a survival check to see if he survives the chores, and he critted it.
He totally does. So yeah, I mean the last thing we were doing is leaving the forest. Maxwell had vanished, and he can reveal himself whenever. We're going to parking lot B.
Ugh, I'm having Ren Fair trauma flashbacks when we got out way after the fair was supposed to be done, and we parked in a parking lot that you couldn't see from the entrance because of a slight hillside, and we were looking for hours for the parking lot where we had parked our car. It
That
was
sucks.
terrifying. It was still when it was at Black Point.
Oh, I love Black Point.
Yep, that was the best one.
But at
Heather
9
wants to go
o'clock
to
at
Grass
night,
Valley.
after post fair, you're wiped.
I've never been to a
Grass
Renaissance fair.
Valley's probably the Grass Valley Ren Fair is my favorite.
Are they,
current one, just because
And
It
if
sound
you're
like they're a
gonna
lot of
go,
fun.
you gotta have Bill and Kimmy take you.
It's only an
'Cause,
hour from here, you know.
From where you guys are at?
They
From where
Scott.
I'm at.
I'm like an hour and a half, 2 hours from Scott.
Right.
He's close enough that I can make the drive, but far enough that I won't.
That's right. Okay. Game time.
Scene.
All right, so let's see. You guys were pushing it into the
You
evening.
people.
It was close to 6 p.m. by now.
Gotta do the John Cena.
Have you read John Cena's book, children's book that he's written, Scott? Bill, he wrote a book called what is it called? Dude, we read it all the time to my kids. It's about a monster truck that's got gumption.
All right.
Gumption.
Sounds like a John Cena
Yeah.
book.
Chutzpah.
It's completely John Cena. As soon as I read it, I was like, dude, this is totally John Cena. But it's basically about working hard to overcome obstacles in life.
So, it is encroaching the evening. The sunlight is starting to actually dwindle out, and I do believe it was Hugh and even Malcolm. You both were going to the lot.
Yep.
Danny was behind with Brenner and Barnaby,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Got
would
it.
look like your unknown contact, whom you've only been just recently working with, should be there at parking lot B. You've got the bright luminescence coming off those lights that are making sure that the lot is lit for anybody walking or wandering around. Most of it is empty. You still have the various external workers that are still parked at the fringes of the lot, if they're still using any kind of grounder vehicle whatsoever. Otherwise, it's probably coming in by AV or taxi. There are gift shops and small areas that have been laid out and set up for getting a little bit of, money and funding for the tourists and so forth, which is common for various areas across Central Park since it has grown exponentially in size and so rapidly, having been part of the so-called geological experiment. And yeah, that was a very interesting stretch of the truth. So when you arrive, you're sort of in the dead silence of that area where the gift shops are being closed and most of the people have left. You've got the lights to your left side as you're actually moving to that parking lot. There doesn't seem to be anybody there who's taking notice of you as you're walking through. So, Drew, you happen to notice that they are emerging here. So,
We're
Yeah,
My
you're-
characters vanish. If I understand correctly, my characters vanish. They cannot see me.
yeah, they're not noticing you. You're just standing there sort of in the arbitrary shadow of it all.
He's just gonna sit and watch for a moment. He wants to have them sort of enter dialogue before he makes his appearance.
Well, there you are. Nobody's coming to approach, so Malcolm and Hugh, you're just kind of standing there looking around.
Hugh.
Hello?
Right? Thank you, Melf.
Fucking
Maxwell
Elf.
is now sort of coming up behind these guys, and he's got his cigarettes out,
I guess I would be smoking too. Like I would just
and
start smoking.
he lights loud enough so they can hear.
Are you just rocking a
and he's
classic
hoping that
Zippo?
someone- yeah, kind of that classic Zippo, and he takes a drag. Funny thing about things that just ain't right. 'cause you never know what you're gonna run into in these woods. Seems like you might need some help, you man.
Can I ask something of your character real quick
Yeah.
about that Zippo, since Zippos are sort of weird personality traits? Because I want a Zippo to be hypocritical, in a sense. I really think that whenever I saw him light that thing, because I heard the chink in my head, the
Uh-huh.
spark of the flint, and then the snap shut. But I want it to be like, I want the shell to be heated so it has that rainbow iridescence, and I want some kind of semi-pearlescent unicorn on the front face of it. Like, I just see that as
That just
being,
hit right.
yeah, it's like,
He's got. It's like his lucky unicorn.
right,
It's like I got my unicorn.
yeah. It's just a thing. Like, I don't know what it is. Whenever I had my Zippo, it was just kind of like this weird, screwed up sort of. But I just kind of saw it as something like that. You don't have to keep that. That's what appeared in my head.
Cool. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but if you haven't, look them up. At the end of World War II, a lot of guys came back and they had so much aluminum, they took single casts of aluminum and made lighters
Wow.
out of them, and they're really cool. Zippo eventually copied sort of some of the designs, but they're single pieces of aluminum somebody would hollow out, and then they'd add a flint, and then they would like create art out of them. So yeah, he definitely has one of those old school lighters, and he just sort of lights up and calls on Human in a sort of sardonic sort of comment about where they're at and what they're doing and whether they need a hand.
Well, so the first second you said something and he sees you, he's going because he's totally caught by surprise.
You inhale your cigarette. You're like,
And then, yeah, so he's coughing right now. He's just...
I'm curious what he notices because though he's looking at Hugh, his eyes are on McDonald.
What would he roll to react to the sudden appearance? Would that be a cool check?
yeah, you can just do a cool essence check and see if there's anything there. It's gonna be like a target 7, so not terribly out of check for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just decided to fail that one right away.
Just love it.
Well, he's gullible, so he's thinking he's fine. So getting surprised by a possible combatant.
Yeah, but have you ever been somewhere where you're engrossed in something and somebody comes in and surprises you? There's one like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of times.
Let out a little fart. Choke on a cigarette.
Yeah, you never fart. You never trust those farts.
Yeah, so he gets 1 degree of success. He turns around and goes,
The
impressive.
threshold was 5. Oh.
It's like,
As Maxwell is breathing out, he kind of points out, so you're the tour guide.
it seems so.
He was going to be introductions at this point. It's like, we've met before, but this is Maxwell. Maxwell, this is Malcolm.
Fantastic. Now, Maxwell, I would very much not like to be out in the public at this moment.
I think
So
that's wise.
If we couldn't mind, Hugh, if you wouldn't mind. Now, a couple of rules when we go through the forest: do not deviate from the path. Put out your cigarette now. And let's see. If you see anything, let me know. But do not engage.
Yeah.
What is Maxwell's? Is there a role I can make to see what his familiarity is with sort of the inner workings of the forest? Like, is this something new to him, or is he like, he's hearing these rules and it's like, when you go on a ride and someone gives you the rules, you're like, I already know the rules.
Well, in this case,
You know what I mean?
It depends. If you're going off of what's been said or reported, you're gonna roll legend lore.
Okay. I want to see if I have something else that would help me.
It's hilarious.
That's the only reason to watch that show.
His
Alright.
books are pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We're going with a 10 on legend lore.
Dang.
Okay, so
Oh, you didn't get a crit, but
mm-mm.
No, it wasn't a crit, just a 10.
Yeah, I mean it's low basic, easy stuff. The rules that you understand are just more or less what you've heard, which is stay on the path. There's not much else that seems heavily reliable, but staying on the path is generally it. And there have been lots and lots and lots of rumors about all kinds of strange and unfortunate things that live within or exist inside of Central Park as a whole.
So Maxwell, after he hears these, just kind of takes a long draw.
Okay.
I heard there's some strange things out here off the path. You wouldn't happen to be one of them, would you?
He grins ever so slightly, and you see a little bit of a pointed teeth. Says, "Hey, but unlike the things that are living in here, I don't bite." And then he just turns around, lights the lantern, and starts walking.
And
the
Maxwell
irony.
just kind of just smiles a little, because I presume when he says that he can see his teeth.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were wanting to do something else in terms of like denoting his character, you can always make a human perception roll to see exactly how honest in your mind you would see him to be, just from saying that.
Yeah, I think that's a good roll, because right now, if I recall, my character is trying to investigate him, but he's not certain if he should like be out to take this guy out or if he should be helping this guy. We got a 13 on human perception.
Fucking Eric Northman.
Love Eric.
Dude, he was good in the Northman.
We still need to watch that.
Yeah. Okay. So, with that, I mean, whenever he says that, and based on your information, it's believable. It doesn't seem to you that he's actually being fictitious. You don't know why, but you have an intuitive sense that he's not trying to mislead you on that. Even though the joke itself was meant as a form of kind of just mild diversion, there's a note of truth in it, as far as you can tell.
Well, at this moment, here's what he says. After all this goes on, he sees him walking away. Closes his eyes. Jesus. And he puts the cigarette down and knocks it out with the heel of his his boot. He puffs it out and looks at Hugh and says, "So you really do need an extra hand."
Always used to have someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah. What kind of shit have you gotten yourself into, Hugh, man?
Let's see. Did I made the connection that he and Alan know each other
Yes.
because he referred him.
Yeah.
So he said, "What kind of shit you gotten this into?" And I was like, "Well, I'm trying to dig myself out. Your associate Hollander seems to be someone who wants to do harm to my colleagues. So."
Associate. That's cute.
That's
Let's
right,
just
Hugh.
say,
Shovels in the shed.
let's just say, hollandaise
Hollandaise.
is like a little bit of a sauce. I like to have them over breakfast. For the rest of the day, I keep them far away.
He just says, "I'm hungry."
By the way, my character can't remember his actual name, so I just call
Yeah,
him
it's
Hollandaise
Hollandar.
sauce. It's
You're
Hollander
close.
hollandaise
Yeah.
sauce.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Oh God. What the hell is that?
At least it's not ranch. Can you
I
imagine
just-
if it was ranch colored?
Yes. Either way.
Oh, Buffalo Bill's jalapeno pizza with ranch. Oh, that's
Doesn't
so
exist
good.
anymore.
Oh my god.
I
So
know.
slight tangent. The pizza that we got at the beach, it had
You're
white
welcome.
sauce, but the Philly cheese pizza was the best pizza I've ever had. Like
Nice.
I when we were getting it, when
Excuse
we were
me, one
looking at the
moment, guys.
pizza options, and Dio was like, "Oh, that sounds interesting." He heard out the ingredients, and so he just decided to get it, and it was like that was the first pizza that disappeared out of everybody.
It was good pizza.
Nice.
It was fucking good pizza.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It was
So
just so flavorful. Anyway,
yeah, You guys start taking yourselves back into the woods here. Now, you've been collecting plants and so forth. It's been close to 30 minutes to get in, so it'll be 30 minutes out, 30 minutes back, plus a little time in between. So, roughly almost an hour, you've been collecting herbs, plants, doing all sorts of things. Brenner has been active doing other stuff, and you realize that you actually are doing some kind of strange mysticism of some sort or another, but vastly more complex than what you are used to doing. He's got sigils and monographs and all kinds of things being scrawled into the dirt, and he's using stones that he digs up and kicks out from underneath the soil to emphasize various points. He ends up taking the herbs that you find based on description and the things that you successfully managed to pull off. Good lord. I'm glad I kind of keep that only in my periphery because, damn.
He's sick.
Yeah.
So I'm clearing the ground for him, right? Like
that, and you're also just getting, like, essential plant matter. Some things that he needs.
Nice.
So, yeah, he starts putting it all together. When it comes down to it, he takes some sort of small amount of wood. You can see him whisper to it. The wood doesn't appear to change, but he's actually broken off a sheaf of it, so it comes off at a slant, creating a nice fine point at the end. Sort of like what you would do if you were to be out in a parking lot and fashion yourself an old stick spear by just, like, rubbing the end or whatever it was on a rougher surface to give it a fine point. He's got that thing going on. When he touches this, stick, which is about 4 times thicker than a number 2 pencil, he ends up holding it. You can see the energy reverberate down the implement. He picks up a stone and he starts to carve various runes and sigils using the point of that wood on stone, and the stone is just peeling apart like it were dusty clay. And he's just gently touching and moving through and creating these engravings.
With a little stylus etching it in.
Yeah.
Nice.
He does this to several others, and he's working quickly, and you're doing a fair job, apparently, of finding him the ingredients and things that he needs.
Brenner, what am I supposed to do with all these weeds? This is servant work.
This is your work.
What am I supposed to do with all these? Are we having salad or something?
I wouldn't recommend eating any of those.
This one smells alright.
He just kind of gives you a
Smells like
sidelong
sage.
glance. He's like, these ones I'll take.
Make a body essence joke.
Oh, God. He's like, the rest you can take, I'll take these here. And put those over there just in a pile that's more or less compost.
Alright. What are you doing? Are you writing? Are you gonna do lightning? Don't. That will give us away. Don't lightning right here.
He kind of like looks to you it's like, sometimes I wonder exactly if you are as intelligent as I believe you to be. He sets the stone down in the center of this work that he's making.
It's like a dig on you more than me.
Sure.
And he just like wanders off and drops his plants off. Comes back. Okay, what are you doing with the stick?
And he's like, he tosses the stick aside. You can see that the energy that he had infused through it dissipates immediately. Sets the stone down towards the center of the series of glyphs and insignia that he's created thus far. Barnaby's just kind of watching this whole thing. He's seen some pretty interesting things thus far, but he's just
It's been a long week for Barnaby.
Yeah, he's just watching this whole thing very, very carefully. And he steps outside of that ring, and he just like looks around a little bit. He's like, 1 or 2 more steps back. Apt, dude, apt. Very.
That's the best look ever.
The slight head shake is just.
Yeah.
I just love Gran Torino. It was a good movie. So he just starts to speak in Gaelic, which neither you or Barnaby understand for the moment. But there is this subtle, like, pulse and reverberation. and you can see him just kind of like keep his eyes closed for a moment, but there is movement along the ground. Not that the soil's actually shifting, but there is movement nonetheless. You visually see it. There's a force moving throughout. You start to see where all the different stones that he's used to engrave begin to fill with light, following those same lines and chains that he's created so far. Okay. Not garlic. Yeah, so once he finishes the speech of that, he continues to hold his hand to the earth, and he looks over to where you're standing there, Danny. He's like, more or less, all I have to do is ask. Gaia, Mother Earth, provide us shelter and respite. That is all I ask. Please bring forth what you may so that we can sleep the night, unfettered. And when he says that, all of the root structures that are buried very deep below start to come pushing up from where those insignia intersections come from, where you've laid down certain kinds of plant matter. And when they start to spin up, we start to notice that there are structures that create load-bearing beams. The vines themselves coming up and twisting, then hardening, stretching out across, beginning to build walls, grooming into a full foundation, sunken, what leads to be like a sunken living room of a sort. You can see that there are various places, even furniture made of some kind of like stone and moss and so forth emerge. There is a second floor that emerges from the top of that, sitting directly next to it, and he just kind of concentrates for a moment. The amount of power that he's putting off right now is intense enough that even Barnaby is picking up on it. But to you, it's like standing next to a 400-degree oven with the door open.
Yikes.
Yeah. I mean, you feel that, and as soon as the structure fully completes in a nice soft arch at the pointed center, you notice that there are all kinds of natural growths, like leaves and bushes and so forth, creating this plated appearance at the top, far better to be able to withstand any kind of rain or other kind of weather that might come in over the evening. The door is the last thing to formulate.
Wizard.
So he stops for a moment, and then he just kind of slags just a little bit, just kind of slumping forward and takes in a breath, and he's like, it'll only last the night.
What was it McDonald's called you? A druid?
No.
Darude Sandstorm.
Druid.
Our Lord Darude.
Druid.
Why don't you make something that lasts longer? Oh, is it because we might have to escape and you don't want them to be able to track us? Or are you not that strong? Or is it the materials? What if you made this out of stone?
He stands up, and you can see that there's like some sweat on the side of his face, and he like pokes the top of your head, and he goes just like, have you learned nothing over the last 11 to 10 days? This energy
I learned how to do the cool lightning thing.
Energy like this requires a phenomenal amount of work. It will start to dissipate all on its own. The only things that probably will remain is perhaps some of the furniture, but even that is just temporary. I am disturbing the earth and using cosmic forces to generate an even more personalized experience. Nature takes back what I ask for sooner or later. The energy must dissipate at some point, unless I find myself with the skill and ability to make it permanent, which I don't have any of the equipment to do here, nor the time.
Where does the energy go?
Back into its normal
Just-
state.
Whoosh.
It's always here. He like, takes a piece of debris off of your shoulder because there was like some of it that had kind of fluttered out. He's like, there's more energy in this single small piece of debris than you could ever possibly imagine. And to think, if you know your own history, a single atom split once destroyed an entire city full of thousands of people. Try to
All right.
imagine what trillions of those could do at once. This is no different. A rearrangement, a reweaving of what you see in front of you. But it must return to its natural form, sooner or later.
Natural order.
All right, so You're making bendy blocks out of nature. Cool.
What? And he like looks over to Barnaby, who's just staring aghast. His mouth is just cocked open, and he's unable to really process. I mean, he's seen a
believe
lot
the
of
term
stuff
is
that could seem.
poleaxed.
Well,
Yeah.
he's seen some strange things, and he's noted the fact that Brenner is not normal. But what he just witnessed is straight up Lord of the Rings. Holy shit, it's real. Like, and he's gonna be like, yeah, pretty much. I love Mr. Bean. Rowan Atkinson's the best.
So why are you making a structure? Don't we have the little cabin?
Come on. The cabin's too small for the whole of us. I've just made extra room, but also enhanced its defenses.
Ooh, what are the defenses?
Just come inside.
Is he
would
gonna
you?
like shoot vines out and like whip people with seeds?
Just follow
Come
me.
along now.
Yeah, Brenner follows in behind. You just push the door open. It's fairly dark in here, but you can tell after a short while that your presence causes some of the actual plant matter to become bioluminescent, illuminating the inside in a soft greenish glow. Fucking executions.
Yikes!
Yeah, that's brutal.
Looks like Dark Souls.
That's For Honor.
It's For Honor.
Yeah. Some of the stuff they do is awesome. Some of it's just like, yeah, sure.
Okay, Danny's gonna try and make lights.
Okay.
Oh,
You would make
light
a
it on
light.
fire.
I am gonna just try and like, cause I've seen Brenner make lights. Like he made light
Yeah.
before, and I have seen the light that McDonald's has. Not he doesn't know it's his like vampire like spirit lantern thing, but he just thinks it's the same thing.
Sure. He's just
So
taking
I'm gonna-
inspiration like most people would.
Right. So I'm gonna, like try and draw in some of this, and this is gonna be improvised casting because I don't have any spell that is like create light. So I'm gonna try and like draw in, and and like if he's recognizing that's bioluminescence, he's gonna try and like feed the bioluminescence like to charge it up.
Yeah, you're just gonna try and enhance it.
Yeah. So he can, contribute to instead of
Sure.
just pulling.
That's an improvisational magic. Just it's gonna be a target 6 and rock and roll. See what you got.
Right. And I have a evocation of 3s. That's my 3s that ranks. So, is this evocation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you evocate.
0.
All right.
But I'll
This is
spend
very
I'll spend
evocate.
a point of luck to cancel out that 1.
Okay. So
Evocate.
So I have
that'll give you one
success.
success, but it does give you 1 point of exhaustion.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
Trying to like use this. Use
Where-
that exhaustion.
Yeah. Where's that
a
exhaustion
resource.
at right now? Because
Well, I haven't gotten any since like we had our break,
right.
so I'm clear. Like I haven't.
So you're
been
at
done any
1
more
right
magic
now.
other than the lightning trap. Yeah, so I'm
Okay.
at 1.
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. Well, my tolerance is 6.
Yeah.
So after we like had that break of like 11 days or whatever, I cleared that out. I'd rested enough.
Oh, yeah.
You're so cute.
Yeah. And my luck is down to 1. Because I only have 2 luck.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's kind of like, oh, lights. Okay, this needs lights. Wait, I got this. And he's just like, he's trying to like
Flames.
imitate Brenner. And like, he puts his hand on the ground and speaks this like totally butchered Gaelic. Of,
It's just utter nonsense. He's just hawking,
I-
basically hawking
Yeah.
loogies in the corner.
pretty much. completely aware of how,
That ain't right.
disrespectful he's being, but he's and if he wants to time it right when like they get back, just so he's like casting magic, that's totally fine. But
Well-
he's
Oh,
gonna,
that would be
like,
funny.
In this case, it's not going to be too
Light.
terribly. It's not going to be too terribly off because when you when you return there, Duncan, you notice that there's a whole other structure next to your cabin that wasn't there before, but it looks to be of a natural composition entirely. It is
Duncan?
it's octagonal and looks to be made from more or less stone, earth, and plant.
Just kind of cocks his head to the side.
so yeah, you're gonna hear him like light, doing his best over
And
the
then it
top.
just starts like light starts coming from all orifices.
It says, and he just kind of like sighs and says, "Well, at least my cabin I got some privacy."
You can see that there's an internal luminescence coming out of there, and it seems to be enhancing itself as you're approaching. Maxwell, and because you didn't even know the cabin was here to begin with, you're kind of fascinated by the fact that it's here, so your assumption is that this was all the way it was before. But you, Hugh, you're kind of marveling at this new structure.
Yeah, I mean, he literally was like, "Well, ain't that something?"
Yeah.
Like, just that's cool. Like, looks like you boys have been busy while we were gone.
So yeah, Danny's gonna be like, "Did you see that? I did that."
He kind of points at the lights. The lights, I believe.
Good, I did that.
The
I
rest?
did the light, and I picked all the weeds. So you know,
Yeah,
Good
at least you
guy.
have some use.
Yeah,
So
he only did it with mild
he was going to
complaints.
introduce Max to Brenner and Barnaby. It's like, this is the guy I was talking to on the phone. He's a pretty good guy. He helped us back a little earlier. This is Maxwell. Do you mind if I call you Max?
human perception.
Yep. Go for it.
Human perception for Danny on this stranger.
Who does while he's doing that? Who does Maxwell Smart notice
Crappy
first
roll,
when
but I
he,
got a
when
14.
he comes up, or does he need to do an awareness check just to see like who he's drawn through the most?
Well, I mean, just tell me what kind of people draw his attention. Like, is he more interested in the people that are armed, or is he more interested in the people that aren't? Or is he more interested in people with military backgrounds? Like, what's his fascination? Or what does he watch for? If he's paranoid,
Or
I
the
would imagine
person he
he's
got
probably looking
no
for people who have...
dossier on.
Right, there's that. And, you know, because that would be a proper point of fixation. But the other thing, too, is if he's paranoid, he'd always be looking for people that look like they have military experience and weapons and all that other stuff.
Well, I think I mean this is a great question. I don't know
Barnaby.
the answer because he's a bigoted guy. It would presume he would be looking for anybody that was going to go away from that he would feel is the biggest threat to his vision of Night City. Like the people that's like, you're the people that are wrecking Night City for whatever that perception is. Because this town was once a beautiful town. It had, glass buildings, the streets were clean, people didn't do drugs on the street. Like, it's completely a hypothetical romantic world he's living in. It never existed, but in his head it does. So what he is looking for, which of these characters, taking in his dossier and the members that aren't on it, would he consider the most threatening to his ideal of Night City? And let's...
Do you get introduced as Maxwell Smart?
19.
I was
he just-
introducing him to everybody. Yeah.
He was
I-
introducing him, but as he's doing it, he's reading the room with a 19 on
Good
I guess it would
lord.
be awareness.
Well, it's actually going to be more of a human perception thing because you're not just
Okay.
because you're aware of them, but you're basically
human
trying
perception,
to
then.
you're trying to see who's the largest threat to everybody. And I mean, if you're basically saying that the character is looking for the qualities that would be the same as everyone else, which would be like greed and overwhelming self-interest, and because all of those things would even though you hypocritically sort of exemplify the opposite of that, if you're looking for those who would contribute to Night City being problematic, nobody in this room would fit that criteria just based on that particular critical role, because you crit it out, so you have a pretty deep comprehension. Now, as far as you know, personality, there's a nuance to this. Nobody in this room is perfect, clearly. They all have their personal interests, but nobody in here is in direct threat of what you would consider Night City's most necessary element to be.
And this is, I'm going to say, would have to be his sort of moral dilemma that this guy is going through. He's got a dossier on people that he's told these are the threats to Night City. And he's looked it over, and he's got a good reputation for handling things. And I don't know how often he does business with Hollander, if they have a on and off reputation, or
Very
Hollander
occasional, almost entirely acquaintance. Yeah, you're not beholden to him. It's not like you guys are friends.
He hires me every once in a while for a job, but
rarely.
This job is different.
Yeah.
He's telling me these. If I understand the story so far.
Yeah.
I don't have anything on Danny, but his retina of groupies, Malcolm McDonald and Hugh Mann are all a threat.
Hugh wasn't a threat.
Hugh wasn't on. Okay, they were a threat because of some girl named Sylvia.
Right.
That's what I'm.
So Silva was part of it. She's not part of the group that's introduced. What is interesting to you is that Hugh Mann is among these people vouching for their moral stability. So that's the thing, is that he's there vouching for all of these people.
And I take it my guy, from what I remember and looking at my notes, my guy saw in Hugh, this is a good guy.
Yeah.
And here he's got a bunch of guys that he's told are not good guys, who are hanging out with a good guy, and when he reads them, he's like, this is work. So he just kind of sits there, he doesn't say much, and he just goes, pleasure to meet you. But in his head, he's thinking, this is interesting. Who's fucking with me right now? And he may have said that out loud, just like quietly, like, who's fucking with me right now?
Danny's gonna say, did you say Maxwell Fart? Just like very obviously mishearing that name.
Didn't I have a dossier that there was some kid of some rich?
Yep.
Yeah, I just posted
like
them in my notes. That I took.
Yeah. Hugh.
Now,
nice.
Is he able to put two and two together that this is the kid of the rich oligarch?
I mean, you get introduced to everybody else here. The only person missing from this entire entourage is Silva. The only person in addition to the entire entourage,
Barnaby.
the only two people actually are Brenner. Yeah, well, no, actually, I'm sorry, there is only one, Barnaby. Because Brenner was mentioned, but only in subtlety.
Yeah.
Because he was
'cause there's
utterly
not, like,
unknown.
Yeah.
I see your parents never taught you manners, kid.
Oh, smart. Like one of those ironic nicknames. Maxwell Smart. I like it. Hugh, what's up? Why are we here?
Hugh gives a significant glance to Malcolm because he's the one that brought him out here.
Well, despite the rather short attention span of the
Short. An hour I spent pulling weeds and giving you this.
Is that a short joke?
and an hour and a half since we actually discussed that this was a safe location from the 86 Street Kings, potentially from Hugh's, and he just kind of squints at Hugh's new friend, Alan.
Yeah, and an hour since I told my mom that I was studying late.
and a place that we can control the field of battle if necessary.
Okay.
So,
So now what?
now
Cards? Anyone?
you discuss. Hugh, get your shovel.
He kind of has a self-deprecating smile. It's like, I screwed up, so I'm here to make it right.
Was Lance with us, if I remember correctly?
Was he?
Yeah.
I don't.
Let me look.
I don't believe that he was.
I don't think he was at the house. Let's see. Oh no, I did talk to Lance. Lance was with us. Oh, Danny.
Seriously, get your shovel.
Yeah, I guess Lance was there. He was talking about the tactical situation.
Because Lance was compromised as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I thought he left and went somewhere, but I will correct that in my own head. So, Lance, of course, will have been sort of out and about past the cabin, and he'll be coming back in then. Because Brenner and the rest of it... Oh, that's right, Lance was actually help with identification of plants. And so he would be
right.
coming back shortly thereafter once the structure had been made.
Lance Bass.
Yep. It just, for some reason, escaped my brain. I just didn't think about it. But yeah, so he comes walking inside. He's like, all right then. It seems like everyone's here now. And of course, with your assessment being a critical from before, Max, Lance enters and it's the same kind of vibe. He's not doing anything that would be outstanding in any capacity that would affect what you would consider to be the Night City Utopia's dream.
And of
Danny
course,
just
he would
left.
introduce them again.
Yep.
Like he's been just being the Mr. Host, basically.
Yep.
So Danny's gonna look to Barnaby and be like, I am bored. What are we doing here? Did you
Keeping
bring
me-
marshmallows?
And he just looks over to you. It's like, be silent for a moment. And looks
No,
over.
be silent.
He looks
I'm gonna
over
go
at
outside.
Lance, who kind of acknowledges Brenner for a moment, and then they start speaking in a language that even you don't quite know, Malcolm. But it's very elegant in how it sounds, and the two of them just exchange very brief sentences for a moment. If you wish to be going outside, Danny, you have to stay well within reach, and Barnaby, you should go with him just in case. But you can't be leaving the perimeter of the cottage. There are things here that would be far worse than having someone just come up and try and
It
kidnap
just
you.
smells like farts and old people in here.
It smells like earth. Go on.
That's what I said. He's just gonna go pick up a stick, and he's gonna try and infuse the stick with energy like he saw Brenner doing.
Alright, you can still roll to do that. Again, that's an
It's
evocation.
gonna be
and-
low Hamura, do it,
Yeah. You go stepping outside, Barnaby goes on the outside, and he's just sort of like, hey, respect. Come on.
Respect has to be earned.
He
You taught me
he
that.
pulls you aside to look him dead in the eye, and he just leans down into your face. He's like, I saw this man create another half of a house by talking to the dirt. He's earned it.
I respect Brenner. He's earned it. It's
Yeah.
those people.
And they probably earned it too, because if you notice, he's behaving a certain way. Come on.
Well, not this new weird guy.
Ugh.
Smells like cabbage.
You smell like cabbage. Get out.
I've been picking weeds. Okay, what's my target?
It's going to be 7. It's actually a little simpler because you're more or less just trying to understand that you're hardening the substance, and that's about it.
Yeah, he's just gonna be playing with the stick. Ah, -1. Nice.
All right, so there's another
Explode in your hand.
exhaustion right there.
He softens the stick.
Well,
Oh.
In this case, it actually kind of crumbles and almost dematerializes in a sense, kind of becomes this kind of unknown material close to like ash. But you also feel
Did,
this like wave of
not ash the wood, like ash the substance. I'm like, ash, it's like a super hard wood.
yeah,
But
no,
yeah, you
the
mean, like,
wood kind of
ashes.
crumbles and becomes nothing. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you want to
Does
make me a
Maxwell see
body,
that?
do you want to make a body essence check real quick?
Yeah.
Maxwell, did you see Danny just try to do magic?
They were
'Cause that would be
outside
kind
whenever
of-
they were pulling that off.
Oh, oops! I didn't give myself a target, but I critted my body essence check.
Yes, you
Ooh,
did.
you
So
crit
roll
that
another
body.
die.
And a 2.
All right. So more or less, you stop this sort of feeling like your body is going to try and come apart for just a moment. You can feel like the shift of the cosmic energy throughout the body, and it kind of rattles all of your nerves for just a minute, and it's unsettling. But then it stops.
Huh. So he's just gonna start poking stuff with his stick. That's all crumbly.
More like your finger, because the stuff just like.
Well, yeah, yeah.
You can find another one though. There's plenty. Look at that.
Boys can always find a stick.
Danny dropped his
Right.
smart brace for a stick to go outside. George Carlin would be
Yeah.
proud.
Right?
Okay. So,
He's gonna start drawing stuff in the ground.
yeah, you'll start messing around with that whole thing. We'll get to Danny here in just a moment because there is actually a phone call that comes through, along with some
who?
other information, because he's still got his like smart brace and communicator and all that other stuff. But I'm gonna travel back inside the construct here for just a moment. I think I'm going to go upstairs and probably lay down for a moment. Thanks, Cos. It's Lance who decides that he's going to go up to the top floor and rest. Brenner just takes a seat in that moss-covered chair, which comes in a sort of like a half ring, allowing it to kind of sit within that sunken living room space. And he just sits and takes this like breath of, relaxation. Now I suppose we need to wait. Who is it that pursues us?
You,
Who asked that?
Malcolm.
Brenner and Malcolm both.
Well, I know who Bill is. I wasn't catching who's Brenner or Barnaby. Okay.
No, Barnaby's outside along with Danny.
That's right. So his name is Alan Hollander, and he is part of the almost said the Celtics, the clerics.
Yeah.
Is that something that would pique Drew's interest
Probably.
or Maxwell?
It depends on
Do you know
his.
the name clerics?
You can roll an occult and see if you actually know of them.
Does he? I doubt it. His occult's not very high. 6.
Yeah, like I said before, they're fanatics.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm explaining too. The clerics, they're a sect of the Templars, I think, or at least the Catholic Church, that is after unnatural or supernatural beings, in their estimation. I happen to give out information about everyone here because I didn't know that he was someone who had hunted him.
You're all being hunted.
That's why we needed your help, Maxwell.
That's why you need my help.
That's right. I'm so glad that you called when you did. Completely not catching any of that.
So, these fanatics.
What do you know anything else about who's hunting you?
About Alan?
Yeah,
Nope.
your information on Alan is extremely limited. You only recently
Yeah.
discovered that he was part of the sect of clerics.
Well, there's also the boy is being pursued because of his father by the 86 Street Kings.
So I suppose that this is only a temporary measure. We're going to have to deal with that particular threat sooner or later, are we not?
Aye, we will. But, like I said before, we do need a safe place to stay for the moment. And as soon as Lance is done with his rest, maybe get a bit clearer answers as to why this may all be connected.
Perhaps just bad luck. Who knows? I should probably do the same. I'm going to retire upstairs. Oh,
Leap.
one thing. I've taken a certain amount of the flora that's here in the area. Should we find someone who is considered to be an intruder and they come into contact with any part of the house, they will be considered, well, threat, of course, and as such, if they make any kind of physical contact, skin to surface, or anything that's here within, they could suffer poison. Just as a countermeasure to other problems.
Well, that's fair. In the meantime, while the night is still out, I'm gonna do a few things on my own. And then just
Like
kinda
sucking blood? No, you wouldn't say that.
and then it says, Hugh, figure it out. And then he just kind of walks out.
He shrugs on his way and is like, I'm just here to make sure things go right.
All right.
Does Hugh consider this just a great success because he like networked people together? He's like,
Hugh?
all right, yeah.
Well, no, he takes it one step at a time. I mean, he's not stupid, but he also is making sure that all the people that he is putting in danger are safe by keeping them together. Silva's an exception because she just disappeared.
Right.
So Malcolm's gonna walk outside and he's just gonna kind of check the forest to make sure that it's fine.
Ah, no, watch over there. Don't step on my stuff.
Okay, so whenever you are coming out, Malcolm, this will be just after he receives a phone call. You actually have your father giving you a call on your smart brace.
Daddy dear.
Oh, wait, me?
Yes.
Oh. Hi,
Oh.
sir.
He's like, are you safe? Are you well?
Yes. Yes.
You hear him sigh a little bit of relief. He's like, you're not home. Where are you?
I am with my tutor. We're studying for a class thing. Don't worry, I'm safe.
He made me take my pants
I need you
off.
to... Yeah, it's like, oh god. I need you to come home immediately. There's been a change. Some problems have arisen.
I will come home as soon as I can, but we are safe. Don't worry.
You actually hear him become tense. It's like, this is not a discussion, Danny. You need to come home now. We are leaving.
Leaving where?
We're leaving. I do not feel safe discussing it on open line. Do you understand? I need you
Barnaby's
home.
here with me.
Good. Then he will make sure that you get home. I will call him next.
Well, there's some gang out here that was looking for me, so we're hiding.
Yes,
They know
I've only
where I
been
live,
made
so I can't
recently
go home.
aware of such a thing, as a matter of fact, and I have words to speak of Barnaby about this as well. I don't know why he had kept some of this secret, but I need to actually find out what the
Even if
reason
you
was.
weren't working all the time, you'd know.
We don't have the time
Gosh.
for this.
I had to patch him up. He got shot.
Come home. Now. Like that, you just hear the line go dead.
Click.
He's like, and then Danny's gonna be like, make me.
Of course,
And
Barnaby's...
then he's gonna like dump energy into whatever he's been drawing just out of pure frustration.
Can you make me just a roll real quick?
Just like a straight D10.
Just throw
Well-
a D10 down.
No, it's going to be the same as your evocation discipline.
By the way, I hope that in the future we
Reroll
have
that 10. Yeah.
we have phones that you can just slam, because that's the one thing that's missing about landlines going away. You can't slam a smartphone down when you're all angry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just have to angrily poke.
Although you can slam a smartphone down and then turn it off. it does still make a crashing sound.
Oh, you know
Just
this.
break the phone.
Yeah,
Well,
you
yeah,
just
you
never
can-
use it again.
Yeah, you just break the phone.
But you know what though?
So-
In his case, he's got so much money. Who would care?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like on his wrist, so he's like smashing his
Don't
arm
break
against
your
things.
wrist.
Okay, so
No.
10, 9, 8, 3.
All right. So Malcolm, when you emerge, you only hear the short phrase of "make me" very quietly under breath, and then something else happens almost immediately after. A very potent shudder. When you dump all of that energy in that particular fashion, there is this crack that forms from the front of your feet shooting forward. It extends almost 12 foot, starts to become much wider. The fissure that's being created there extends downward almost 6-7 feet. You kind of step back and you're kind of staring at it as it pushes open, and you can hear all kinds of strange and unusual sounds coming out from underneath. They don't sound human, they sure as shit don't sound friendly.
Did you just-
Brenner,
Malcolm's sword is almost out in an instant.
Yeah.
gotta love that. You gotta love an instigator. I'm sorry.
He's
And then
unsheathing.
he just bellows, Brenner, out now!
All right. All right. So you're pushing.
What you got in your mouth there? That looks good, tasty. Nice burrito
Ah.
or tortilla.
Yeah. So you shout out the alarm at this point. You've got Barnaby looking around, kind of noticing the same thing. He actually gets this phone call shortly thereafter, and he's just sort of like, "What the hell?" Like that, pops it down. It's like, "Sir, yes. I can't identify our location right now." I understand. He like looks back to where this fissure's been created. He's just got like this. He has no. He's like, "I'm gonna have to call you back." Like that, just hangs up the phone. He just looks over at you, Dan. He's just like, "What the fuck just happened? What is that?"
I don't know.
It's called
Just
Danny
so
not
mad.
keeping his temper and opening something he shouldn't have. Like, Malcolm is pissed.
I mean, at this point, he's gonna come out too, at the call.
Yeah. You all emerge. There is a very large gash in the earth close to where Danny had been standing, where he's now kind of stumbling backwards. Brenner has kind of like moved out from the complex. Lance is actually not too far behind him.
And Malcolm
Roger that.
has fully engaged his true faith. Like you see him like with his shield. He takes the cross, kisses it.
Huh. Dan just kind of staring at it like is like gonna take his foot and like try and like smudge the sigils.
I didn't do that.
Well, in this case, you don't really see much of any sigils left. There just kind of was this expulsion of energy whenever you got frustrated, and suddenly all of that just happened.
Yeah, so he was like doodling. Like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it suddenly fed into it, and whatever the energy was just bit into the ground and created this. What it is,
So
and
what
even
did he
scrumming.
actually summon?
I think
It's not
opened
sure
up
that he
door.
actually was like summoning anything. Who knows? Right now, you just have very eerie, very dark-sounding noises coming from below, and it is clearly a gash in the earth.
What the hell is this?
Who dares disturb my slumber?
Ugh.
Oh God.
Malcolm, this is your forest, right? What is it? And you're aware that he called you Malcolm, not McDonald's. This is your forest. What are these things?
So he's gonna do an awareness check.
All right.
It says, 1, you used magic. 2, I don't know what the hell you did. 3, stay behind me.
Yeah, no worries there. And he's like,
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2,
does he? So I was playing it. Danny's got temper. That's his disadvantage.
Well,
Got
right
the
now it's
temper.
playing into it, man. You're doing good with that.
So that means.
Oh, I'm supposed to make a cool check, suffer a -2 to skill checks till the source of my frustration is gone. But he hung up, so that works.
Okay. That means that didn't work. I just-
Dang!
Wow. Nice.
Wow!
Thanks a
Jeez,
lot for that,
Bill.
Proofy.
Be very aware.
28. He went hyper.
Predator mode, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
ears perked up.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Dwarven princess doesn't seem happy. Let's rescue her from this wedding.
Here we go. All right.
Here we
So,
go.
from down below, there's now this kind of smoke and steam and all kinds of strange things kind of burbling underneath out of sight. Everybody's kind of crowded around to where Malcolm is at. So, here's what's interesting. He kicks off this sense of faith, and when you're standing near him, because clearly Maxwell's going to be out there wondering what the hell's going on, there's now a fissure in the ground from, and Danny's moving away and moving close to Malcolm. But you're standing there, and everybody's collected around to where Malcolm is standing. There is this peculiar sense of safety, in a way, that is surrounding you and him and all of you as you're standing within this certain range. And it becomes clear to you that your instincts are correct. But this feels far more spiritual in origin than simply, oh, hey, he's a good dude. Like, there's something more to that. You can't see that field, you can just feel it permeating off of him.
So he's recognizing that he may have perhaps been given some bad information.
You're deadly certain that whoever it is that's hunting these individuals has a different agenda from yours entirely.
And was perhaps using you. Well, all I know is as soon as things started hitting shit, Maxwell
Hitting
just
the
kind of
shit.
went to he went to the shadows.
Yeah, he
And
vanished.
he kind of vanishes.
Yep.
And he's just watching this, and he sees this from afar. Do we need to roll awareness for combat? Our combat sense right now.
Well, it will definitely come perking up. As a matter of fact, everybody can, yeah.
I just accidentally closed my sheet. 1 second.
16 for Maxwell Smart, who is currently in a
Nice,
vanished
Bill.
state at 18.
Alright. So, more or less, this is a true combat sense roll because we're looking to see what you guys pick up situationally. You're basically
Okay.
looking for threats.
16.
Let's see.
14 for Danny.
Anybody with a 15 or better will definitely perceive it.
Combat awareness.
Sorry, guys.
11.
Not that.
Okay.
Not that. Sorry.
Okay.
His
Majesty wants back in.
cool enough in combat that he got to go first.
How does that feel, Drew? How does that feel?
It feels nice. I used to see guys all these rolls. I was like, man, they have such good rolls. Why doesn't Ivar have good combat sense?
I got a 16.
Very nice. Okay, so you're all, those of you who got the 16 or higher, you're perceiving this, like, strange, you don't know what, but tendrils of, like, what seem to be almost like rot or something else coming from that same fissure. And with this whole bit, did Malcolm get a 16 or better? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
16?
Yeah.
You
Yes.
guys all got 16s, right?
Danny
I got
did.
a
Yeah,
14.
literally.
Yeah,
I got
so
a
Danny's
14.
the only one that doesn't see it. All right,
Which
so
makes
you're
sense. He's
yeah.
naive.
Yeah, so you're pulling this up, and this rod is crawling across the ground from this open fissure point, and there's a lot more that's kind of coming out from that. Whenever you see the central part of the fissure begin to widen enough, sort of its own accord, where the soil is falling deep down inside and pulling apart, there is something that starts to emerge. You can see that it's hunched over. There seems to be some kind of an old cloak, a little bit of this. There, within its grasp is what appears to be some form of a staff. Brenner is standing very close together, and you can see him just kind of like pulling his head back and watching very carefully what's going on. Barnaby has taken up close. He's got his sidearm drawn, and he's keeping himself in between where. So Danny, you're basically looking from behind Malcolm and Barnaby. So you're pinched through like
They-
this.
the
Basically,
two
this.
dads have made a wall.
Yeah, you're basically like glancing through a shoulder slit between the two of them.
Nice.
So you're just kind of peering out, and you can see that he's standing there at the ready with his sidearm, just kind of watching what's happening.
And he's got his shield cocked like this, so he's semi-covering Barnaby. Too many bees.
Quick question on
Yeah.
on logistics right here. In the event that you have 3 ties for combat scenes, how do you actually determine the order in which characters will go? Is
Who
it
shit
their
last?
role?
Scott, you want to take it?
Reflex.
Yep.
What
I
if the
suppose
it's
reflex is
under-
the same?
Alphabetical order by mother's maiden name.
What if that's the
Reflex
same?
is going to be 12.
I just made up reflex. So.
How's your reflex 12? Good lord. We're street level. How are you so fucking...
Vampire.
Vampire.
We're street level. You're not supposed
He
to be
has,
above
he
10.
has a 9 reflex, but because he's a vampire, he gets a bonus of 3.
Yeah, but he's also take into account there, Hugh. He can't walk out in sunlight. If he gets staked, he's frozen. He suffers all
If
kinds
Kenny
of damage.
turned
He's
the
like
stone
so many
brightness up
threats.
high enough.
Yeah, he's got enough balancing in there that even at street level, he's
I was being comedically...
Oh, I know.
Bill
But at the
has
same
the
time,
same
it's basically it
weakness
would be
to
a concern
sunlight.
for a lot of people who think about it. It's like you're not supposed to. It's like, eh.
Damn, that's pretty good. Maxwell has a reflex of
Of what?
10. He's got an 8 plus a 2 bonus.
Where you get your 2 No, never mind. I got a reflex of 6.
Well, no, he's got an 8, so he's got a +2 when he's dealing with reflex secondary skills and stuff like that. But his reflex is 8.
He's got an 8.
Mine is
He
6.
just wants to sound cool. He wants to be like a vampire. He wants to join the vampire group.
Oh, my lily white skin. All right. So what emerges is something that kind of protrudes up, and you can see that the soil fills up underneath where they're standing. But you can tell there's a swampy kind of degradation to it. It's not your normal kind of. It's not your normal kind of element of, say, compost or decay. It's worse. It's like an epitome of that.
Nice.
So,
He's gonna comment. That's some good work, Danny.
that is what we end up seeing
Thanks.
popping out.
Oh, like a hag,
Mm-hmm.
fog witch, Baba Yaga.
Anyway,
That's a nice picture. I like it. That's terrifying.
well, and she just kind of like cocks her head to the side and looks straight through the two shoulders there. And she just goes like, "What a fresh little thing!" Like staring
Oh.
directly at Danny.
Right as she says that, Hugh's gonna say, "Hey, hey, Miss Hugh, man, at your service. How can I help you?"
She just kind of like again turns her head to the side a little bit more. You can hear like almost brittle bones kind of popping as she's doing that. She's like, "And manners. That's
Hugh?
excellent."
Not a friendly.
See, he puts his finger up like this. Well, you can't see it. Like this is like, everything can be friendly with the right attitude. So, what brings you to these parts, Miss? And he's like trying to get her name.
Well, she just goes like, "Oh, he did. Which to my everlasting thanks so very much. And now
Edith.
I am rather hungry. So if you don't mind." And she like opens her mouth. Yeah. She opens her mouth and these god-awful swarms start to like just pour out at rapid speed. Now, the thing is that Barnaby visibly tenses because he's never had to deal with anything like this ever. He ends up bringing his weapon to bear, but he actually, from out of, you can actually hear just like, "Fuck!" like that, because he's,
Oh, yes.
And what happens is that the swarm comes crashing into some kind of barrier. And it surrounds all of you. When you start taking a look at what the swarm is, the fleeting glimpses of what these things are, try to imagine beetles the size of dollar pieces, but all of them have these kind of like cold cherry eyes, and the rest of it, they're all buzzing. There is this gnashing sound, like teeny little metal pieces clicking together all the time, and it's everywhere. It's actually deafening with how many there are. There's this laughter from the outside edge, and there's actually a bit of yeah, there's this sense of like them trying to push through. Anytime one of these little insects tries to fuck yes, Eddie's the best. Whenever they try to push past the barrier, you can see that they ignite, catch flame, and collapse to the earth as just kind of like this ash nothing. And
Thank God for the true faith.
yeah.
The one time a Catholic protected the child.
Oh, boy. Wow. Just roast them.
I'm gonna
The
give you
delay
5
control
IP
was-
automatically because that I felt the burn in my own ass, and I'm not Catholic whatsoever.
Oh, we gotta clip that. How did you do a clip?
What's the Bill Burr bit? Don't you think the Catholic Church went too far?
At this rate, anybody who's got a firearm is basically going to be shooting into the swarm directly at their target. So Barnaby is lighting up everything because you're getting muzzle flashes against this pure black undulating mass that is sitting around the true faith. And Maxwell, what are you up to?
I have a question. Was
Yeah.
he, since he had vanished prior, he had an 18. Does he detect him?
Detect who?
Does
Oh,
the
did
old
she
hag?
detect?
No.
Does he know where Maxwell is?
No, and if you're not close to these guys, you're watching the swarm just swirl around and you're hearing gunfire coming from out of it.
Is Maxwell able to sneak? What would he have to do to see if he can sneak up on the old hag?
Stealth?
So his initial 18 that he rolled, would that count, or do I need to re-roll?
18? Well, yeah, you're going to roll again because she appeared after the fact. And especially, you're going to roll again because you're approaching her now. You're not just, like, trying to stay out of
Got
it.
it. Does he still get to roll his vanish as well, or is that not?
You're just making your stealth roll with whatever bonuses are available. Vanish would normally apply.
We're looking at an 18. How close can he get?
Well, you start to
How
approach
low
her,
can you get?
and she's just sitting there, just kind of like leaning in and watching the swarm do their thing. There are bullets coming out, but they're kind of going wide. She doesn't seem to be really mindful of that. And she looks over to you and goes like, and she's just like singing like, like really enjoying the fact that this is what's going on. And then catches that you're there. You don't know how, but you feel her presence kind of go focused over here to whoop, focus to where you're at.
Okay, so his surprise did not work on her.
No, there's also another problem because you can tell that she's just kind of like leering at you at this point. I need you to make. It's actually going to be a will. It's going to be a will essence check, one of the first of the games.
Oh, God.
Oh, street level will essence.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I'm concerned.
Get your character sheets out.
I'm going to tell you, what's my target?
Target's going to be 8. Nice, Drew's
We
using
are
the pages.
Failed.
Fail. Fail.
All right. So she looks over
We
at
only have a
you.
will of one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not Ivar.
I'm so used to your
Will is-
10.
Will is calculated and it's based on the bonuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't
So
have the
street
stuff
level
for it, so he's
characters
just-
are hard, man.
He was stealthing his way over,
Yeah.
looking over at her, And she looked at him.
Yeah.
And what happens?
All right, hold on. One sec.
He's got his brown pants on.
Drew, did you see what I tagged you in on the OOC?
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you.
I gotta make this right.
Have to keep the book.
Yeah,
open.
I was reading all that.
Oops, it got rid of everything for some reason. Stand by.
This is why I need a new version of Winamp.
Yeah.
That's right.
I can't wait for that. I'm looking forward to it.
Dude, I'm
Sincerely.
stoked that Winamp has that.
Really whips the llama's ass.
I love that too. They never changed it.
No.
Here we go. Here, huh? Ooh. Here.
Thanks for the clip.
Yeah, you like that? You ever watch Street Sharks? Oh, Lord. Okay, we're not talking about Street Sharks now.
No.
There. All right. Oh, I think I know which one I needed. So you're staring at this ugly, putrescent, and utterly disturbing figure.
What are you doing here, Mother?
Eating a toaster.
Mother. Fucking hilarious. When you start to push a little bit further, she just gives you this smile, and you can see her teeth straighten, and her lips become more reddened and lively. Her cheeks become full. Everything about her slumped over and shrunken posture straightens and becomes more languid. The air around her person also ends up becoming far more incredibly and visually stunning. She's standing amidst this lush grass and utterly, completely naked. You can feel your heart almost jump right out of your chest as all of that blonde hair goes falling down to just past her waistline. And she gives you this incredible smile, squinting across with just teeny little crow's feet and these crystal blue eyes. She's like, "Darling."
That ain't right.
No,
I
he's
like
not even,
man. Get away from me.
He's not even at that. That ain't right. He's just
He's just staring.
he's just looking at her. And finally, things are looking right around here. How can I be of service to you?
She's like, "Please. There are some things over there." She like acknowledges where the swarm is still kind of moving around, but to your eyes, you see this sort of illustrious barrier, something that's keeping in, and on the inside of it are these writhing shadows. She's like, "You have to help me. They don't belong here. They attacked me. I need your help."
What do you need?
"I need you to kill them."
Just for disturbing you? Seems a little harsh.
"No, they mean to hurt me, do me harm. Please."
Perhaps we can negotiate.
"There can be no negotiation with these things. Please. Please."
There's nothing he can do at this point to overcome her charms, is there?
It doesn't have the capacity. I mean, like, she's the next thing you'll get another shot to like roll against it. But right now, the conveyance is definitely she's the one who's in trouble, and you're kind of blanked out that you were even with a group of people. Like, this fantasy that you're involved in is the only one that's real now.
Okay.
Nice.
So, how close is Maxwell to her? How close is he to the group?
Well, you're well within gun range at this point. I mean, you're not more than
inside the.
Yeah, well, no, he wasn't inside of the thing. He stood outside of that swarm and was vanished and just kind of stealthing, and then shit
Right.
went down. And so he's standing next to the new structure, and there is this like the swarm that's happening out front, which is approximately 8 to 9 feet from the doorway, and you had moved towards her, putting you about 15 feet from where the swarm and your friends are. Not that one. That one.
Oh wait. I'm sorry. He's got iron will.
Ah, well, in this case, then the scenario doesn't quite go as expected for her. Then.
So he's sitting there and he's seeing this, and I would presume it gets in, but there's something of his knocking at the door, like this ain't right.
There's the same right.
I like it deep in your psyche, just like,
Yeah.
wait a second.
There's no way a pretty girl would come on to me.
Yet another burn for the evening.
Yeah.
I'd like to just do a human perception on this hag,
Go for it.
like
Perfect.
just to see.
Perfect.
If
That's
you know,
that
helps.
is exactly the kind of roll I'd want to see. Yeah. To see through the lie, because it's another deception.
We got an 8.
Okay. So you can't see past the perception, but you know something is wrong, so you hesitate. She continues to beg. While you were locked inside of this, the swarm finally starts to kind of come across as these creatures, these insects, start burning out. And whenever it starts to clear out, you actually catch notice. Everyone who's got like first view here can see that there's something happening to Max near the house as he had tried to approach. He's kind of stuck frozen in place, and you can see this sort of like halo of mist around his head as he's kind of there, and his eyes are all the way cocked up into the back of his head.
Is that enough for him to realize who he can take a shot against?
You'll be able to make that shot here in just a moment.
Okay.
In this case, everybody else is going to have a sort of chance to react as you're stuck within the... you know, because he's stuck within this sort of strange glamour effect that she's pushing off. And right now, Barnaby's magazine's being flipped because he just ended it, he basically emptied the whole mag out.
Love that Barnaby just doesn't truck with this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Like, danger, kill it.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah, so you can see strips of visibility are coming through when it comes to this particular swarm. And like I said, you notice that Maxwell is currently being held by something. You can see that she kind of like looks to the side, realizing that the group is capable of seeing what's happening here. And then she just makes this ugly ass grin on her face. She's enjoying whatever the hell this is.
You know, I'd rather face off against like these crazy, like otherworldly hell demons than a creepy hag grandma. Like that's. I don't have bad dreams about, you know, Copperfield. Like.
It's just real enough.
It's just real enough. And it's like my fault, right? I opened up the hell
Yeah.
mouth.
So,
Buffy's
who's
gonna-
reacting first? I mean, obviously, Brenner.
So if you want to go ahead and make one more roll for combat awareness, or combat sense rather, and go for it.
Is this everybody? or
everybody?
who's-
Yeah, the people that are kind of in the midst of being able to react to this current fight, because right now, not quite. Everybody's going to be reacting to this strange creature, and she's trying to drag Max into this.
Dang, Drew!
Dang!
Hmm,
Hey, 16!
not this one.
Wow, I got a bad roll. What I get for being
Ooh.
distractible.
Here we go. I think this is probably what I want.
You're like
Yeah.
trying to like, do I give her my card or I don't? I like that you're doing the Leon Barrick. Hugh,
All right.
manservant.
So we've got
You, man, at your servant.
So, Bill, yours. Your
Mine was 16.
yours. Okay. Ken. Your roll.
Mine was 13.
All right.
Or 12 even. Better.
Okay.
Drew
And
got a good one.
Drew.
21.
Nice.
21.
Okay.
So Malcolm and Danny,
Danny?
are tied.
Malcolm and Danny. Okay.
Danny.
We'll say Danny is going to go secondary. It's still going to be the same turn basically, but he'll go second because he's just a little slower. Not to
And
mention
he's
that this is kind of
behind
shitty. Yeah.
Malcolm.
Yep. So in this case, okay. So yeah, we'll be coming back around to you, Drew. So Bill and Danny, I mean, you guys are the ones that react first under the circumstances.
Danny's like, I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a couple things. So he's gonna use one of his powers. So he's gonna use the dancing spirit. So you just kind of see he's cocked up like this,
Mm-hmm.
and the kilt starts just moving like a tail again.
Yep.
Like Danny's like right there.
Yeah.
You just sees you just sees like, that's a piece of fabric. No, it's a tail. It's a piece of fabric. It's a tail. No, that kind of thing. And then it extends out and whips around Drew's character, who's pretty much immobilized. So, can he really do a body check?
Yeah.
And pulls him into the True Faith aura.
All right. So you're grabbing Drew and pulling him in, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then he's just gonna kind of move. He's gonna slowly move forward.
Yep.
Right? And he's gonna go, Barnaby, advance. And just that slow, deliberate
Yep.
shield march. Just boom,
Yep.
boom, boom.
Yeah. As you're doing that, you hear a magazine slap into place on his sidearm.
And he moves slightly in front of Barnaby, like he's being the shield.
Right. So, all right. So you pull Drew in. Drew, you're actually combating this sense of the glamour and trying to understand it. You feel something wrap around your waist and yank you off your feet and pull you into this reality that you had forgotten all about. As you see the glamour kind of dissipate and vanish, you get pulled into the area of true faith, and you realize that the shadow creatures and the rest of it that were being portrayed as such happen to be the people that you've already vetted. You come into it.
Pulled back. Go on, finish your thought.
Yeah, when you basically put on your feet, so you're not stumbling or anything. Something comes unwinding from your waist, and it goes coiling around, the vampire, as you've identified him, Malcolm. But you're standing there now, and you're making a slow march towards your enemy, who happens to be that same.
Very beautiful.
That as the skin peels away and everything comes back into its natural form.
Sort of reflexive. How I see it is he's getting pulled back in. He's realizing this. I have a 14 tactics roll. Where's he putting the bullet?
When it comes back around, you'll probably just be aiming for anything like you normally would. Center mass and the head.
Center mass, head, the staff at all? Any of those?
You're probably not going to pick the staff out as your primary target.
Okay. He's aiming for head then.
Yeah, you're going to... Yeah, like I said, when it comes back around to you, you're definitely going to be going for that, because you're still kind of getting your bearings. All right, while you're being yanked in there, Brenner just is standing behind you. Actually feel this pulse of something in the background, and he holds his arm up, and there's actually a convalescence of cloud cover coming up over the top. Where the skies had been mostly clear, there is now this kind of like thunder, basically a thunderhead building up there.
Noise.
Yeah, that's going to take him a minute. All right, so Danny, you're up next.
Right. So Danny is like, he wants to get this crazy lady away,
Yeah.
but he
Thanks,
does
guys.
not want to light her on fire like the last time he did, because he's like kind of terrified of that. So the other spell that he knows is that repel, like that push repel spell
Yeah.
that he did. Which I think is technically an AoE spell, but Danny's gonna. He's gonna try and
Is
launch
that his
that.
bread? Is that his bread and butter?
Right now it
Launch her
is. Yeah,
away.
it's the things that he knows. Like, so
Yeah,
he's going down to it. Yeah, he's basically gonna try and force push her very harshly.
Pretty much.
Push.
Yeah.
That's a target 8 threshold 1. Oh, no botches, but 3
Do you have
3
any
rolls.
luck?
Not I have 1 point of luck, so I can't. I only have 1 left, so I can't do a explode. So,
All right.
So Danny's like trying to push
Mhm.
away, but no success.
Yeah. Yeah, now she starts to do this kind of like awful cackling noise. She's like like this, like trying to get herself all, she's getting ramped up, not trying to. She is getting ramped up.
Time for a lightning trap, you know.
Yeah. Well, and then you hear Barnaby taking off several more shots because it's just blap 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 blap, like you can see that barking weapon. Several of the rounds that go through are somehow or another either dispersed or in some ways, but you can see kind of red ash from where some of the swarm make impact, but 2 of the bullets must have gotten through from his initial firing. Oh yeah. She ends up taking these impacts, and we can see just kind of do this like jerk motion. She's like, ah. And then, of course, in some language that actually sounds vaguely familiar to you, Malcolm, she's just like, pigs!
Pigs?
Yeah. Which distracts her to some degree. Whenever she screeches that out, she does this thump and a wave, and there is this nasty bolt of what looks to be some kind of force just come erupting out of her staff, and you're unable to do much about it. Of course, you know, Malcolm, you're sitting there and you brace with your shield ready for whatever, but you can feel the sheer vitriol with the construction of it's a corruption of what magic is. It's just raw, disturbing death thrown into a tiny ball that disrupts everything around it, and nearly a half a foot around, so like 6 inches around this sphere is just warbling nasty, and it comes crashing into the barrier of your faith, and you can feel the pressure of it burning in your chest as you basically sustain yourself. But you're just kind of do this half like squint. It doesn't get through, and she just snarls in absolute frustration. Q, you're up.
I don't know. I guess he's gonna take out his shotgun.
I'd do that.
What a nice guy.
But he's like, as he is holstering the gun, he's like, "We don't have to do this."
Well,
It's the shame.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
And Malcolm's, Hugh, for 5 minutes, could you not be a bloody idiot?
Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
It's a sawed-off 12-gauge shotgun.
Thanks. You're not gonna use your cool vibrobat?
Well, I mean, I don't want to leave the.
He'd have to
sphere that's
run up
obviously
to her.
protecting us.
That's a good point. I know last time you knocked some dude into the other dimension.
Yeah.
Triple
So yeah, I'm gonna try just right at the hip, taking an aim and shooting the buck.
All right. Yep. You've got triple op buck in that thing. It's nasty.
shooting hags in a barrel.
1 barrel or 2
Things.
barrels?
I'm gonna start with the one, and then I'll shoot the other one next.
All right.
He still is hesitant to, take fire at people, but she's obviously, not. Anyway, let's see. What is my rifle? It is 8. So it's 1d10 plus 8. 16.
Nice.
All right. So you're like, like you hear it. It's so fucking loud because it's 12 gauge, and with the shortened barrel, the noise of it's just amazing. You actually watch as the shot peppers her from head to chest to stomach. Like you just see like this nasty like dust and gore just come off all at once, and she just makes this like like that and falls like tumbling backward only a few feet, because it's not like the movies where you shoot somebody with a shotgun and they go turtling towards the wall. But I mean, like, it definitely fucks her day up. She starts trying to she starts to get back up from where she is. The swarm's still holding, but nearly dispersed at this point. Yeah, so, alright, Max, you finally have gathered your senses, and after multiple gunshots, screams, and all the rest of this, you're now collected shot. She's getting back up from a stooped position after taking several rounds from two of your comrades at this point, as they are now considered to be comrades, as they are fighting side by side with you.
What you gonna do, Max?
Yeah, you're up, Max. What you doing?
So, as I said, Max is looking to take the shot. So, it's how I see the whole thing going in. As he's getting pulled back, he realizes, oh, this ain't right, and he's firing. He's going for the headshot. So,
all right,
we are pulling out. Remember, he keeps his guns already loaded and ready to go. So like it's just a pull and fire. Shall we go with the Desert Eagle or the Nighthawk?
Depends.
My vote's on the Deagle.
If you want to go big boom or multiple shots.
Desert Eagle. So how do I actually make this roll?
You roll your handgun with a D10, but you can only make a single shot because the Desert Eagle is large enough that the kick is pretty intense. So,
Slap.
Yeah.
Okay, so I roll a handgun. What's the strike?
That is the strike.
So that's what I'm rolling.
Yeah.
I'm rolling that, not my handgun modifier.
Right, it's all accumulated together on your sheet. So all of the bonuses are wrapped up together in one under strike.
So I'm rolling a D10 plus 14.
All right.
We're going for a nice 21.
Yeah, that's an exceptionally high roll. That's a difficult. So in other words, you make a damn good shot. So you're like boom, like that just takes one in there. She's getting up, and you just see her head snap all the way back. Part of it goes completely missing. Her hood comes off. Oh, man. So, when you do that last shot, there is this, like, again, you hear that same kind of thunderhead type thing going off in there. And when you do that, everybody make an awareness roll, just an awareness.
Oh, wrong channel.
Ooh, dang. Got a plus 12 to my awareness. Danny knows
appropriately
what's going
done.
on.
Maxwell completely is not aware of anything. He's getting pulled back. He's like, "What? Fuck this bitch! I've been this stuff in Taipei," and he fires back off.
What you guys see whenever he does that, he makes the shot. Something inside of her head is glowing this ominous sort of like dark type look to it, but it doesn't look like it's something that would be together. It looks like he's hit something, and she's starting to completely convulse and do all kinds of strange movements and configurations. But that thunderhead again rumbles one last time, and there is a bolt of lightning that comes straight down and strikes the staff at the same time. You can see Brenner just lets his hands drop, and it's like that. It blows everybody's hair back. It is so incredibly loud that all the gunshots seem like basically quiet coughs in comparison. The staff goes up into flames, blowing apart. She actually gets launched and starts to disintegrate out of the way there. And it's just this like feeling of shock as everybody's just standing there, and you can see Brenner just kind of like do that slump thing one more time. He ends up hitting down to his knees, heavily breathing, and he's out at that point.
He hit his quota.
Yeah.
Limit breaker.
And with your ears ringing, there is this sense of like deadly quiet that comes over the top of that. Let me get to where I need to be.
My character does have med tech.
Yes.
So is this? Does he look over and go, "Does he need some help?"
I think we're all going.
Fucking mop.
I miss my dampers now.
Right? Yeah, you're gonna be ringing.
Is Maxwell recovered enough to be able to provide medical tech to recognize? Oh my God, he needs medical aid.
So everything settles back down. You can see the swarm completely disperses from where it is, and Brenner's just kind of like breathing heavily. He's just like, I had not realized that she had two. I think your shot managed to take care of the other one. Oh.
Other one what? Wait, are we yelling? Am I yelling?
I don't like when people mess with my emotions. Dated a woman like her once. They're nothing but trouble.
Barnaby's just standing there. His eyes are like wide. He's just kind of like. He like lowers the weapon finally at this point, taking a look around after like his, everybody's just kind of standing where they're at right now, and your faith is still up at full blast. Malcolm, he's just looking around, going, "Is that shit real?"
At this
Danny's
point, Malcolm
gonna-
just kind of straps his shield back on his shoulder, sees his blade, and goes, "Yes, unfortunately, it is." And then he just looks straight dead-eye into Danny. Danny, this is why you do not do things unattended. Do you understand now?
I mean, yeah, but he didn't tell me that this is the stuff that could happen. And it's just like
Babbling.
babbling.
No, Danny.
I
Dang
didn't,
it.
but he didn't.
Did he go off the path?
And he looks at Smart and says, "In a manner of speaking, yes. Now, everybody in to the shelter." And he just kind of picks up Brenner.
Yeah,
Lance
he
is
was
just
gonna
kind
do-
of like
oh,
amongst
okay.
the back of you guys, and he's watched all of this happen because he was just staying with the group and trying to like not get offed. He's like, he looks over at Brenner and he's like, "Yes, actually, Maxwell did manage to hit the other one. Luckily."
So he was gonna actually walk over to the stick that's still smoldering, I'm guessing.
It's actually in shattered fragments, so there's just like
Yeah,
burning
so he's
pieces.
gonna go to where the mass is,
Yeah.
and he's gonna kind of cover it up with some dust, and he's gonna take out his business card, and he's like, "If you need some help in the afterlife," he puts it down there and covers it up.
Okay.
He's always looking for a job, you know.
Yep. Wow. Just wow. All right.
That's in character for him. He's
Yeah, it really, truly is. So you're all going back into the shelter at this point.
Maxwell's is gonna hold back for a moment,
Yeah.
and he's just gonna send a quick text message to Hollander that just simply states, "Dossiers are not enough. sort of a message along the line of why these targets, more information needed to pursue, to continue pursuit.
Right. All right, so you send that off.
I didn't do anything. Danny's just.
Making excuses left and right.
But.
Yeah. Well,
He's
and
not used to being held accountable.
right.
Yeah.
What is explained before we basically screw the cap back onto this one? What is explained by Brenner later in the evening after everybody's hearing kind of comes back is that the creature that you encountered was obviously buried here, and given the likelihood that the cottage may or may not have been up since before you arrived anyway, there are inclinations that it could have been this creature's to begin with, and she was just sleeping. The problem is that she had...
Owners.
Yep. And the other part to it is usually those creatures operate with certain curses. Curses that keep them immortal, but if destroyed, they disintegrate. And apparently she was smart enough to have them in 2 locations. He had anticipated that it was in her staff. The Desert Eagle took out the one in her head.
Who?
So wound up being a hell of a lucky shot.
Good shot.
Melf with the bits again.
Yeah.
He comes in. Maxwell comes in just as he hears, he was saying "good shot." And he goes, "Thanks. It's what I do."
It is what you do.
And he's got that cigarette going again.
Yeah, and everybody is going to basically be pretty wired, even Lance. He's like, well, so much for sleep. It wasn't even that late. It was only probably around...
Isn't it like 7:30 or something?
Yeah, it's like right around 7:30, 7:45 that everybody's got this point. So, that was interesting and utterly unexpected. I had to come up with a lot on the fly on that one.
Yeah, you did.
You're welcome.
That's why you have a 15-year-old sorcerer.
Right? Resurrecting the previous owners of their formerly enjoyed real estate.
Oh, I think I have a target for a raid for us.
Okay.
Strange Dice. They've been only streaming for 2 hours. They have 6 viewers right now.
Strange dice.
I get the link for you. Boom.
No problem.
All right, and 10 sessions in, can you get your first major milestone?
Yes, this is true. Das Truth.
I'll have to look it up tomorrow.
Go through it.
It'll be good. These
Yeah.
guys, they're speaking English at least. The last time we tried, it was like Portuguese.
Yeah.
It looks very homebrewy, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, and we can definitely
the-
do that. Let's do that.
And it's custom backgrounds and stuff, obviously. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go say hi.
I'm
Hi.
gonna be heading out, gentlemen. I gotta get up early, and I'm pretty beat from the day. But that was a lot of fun. Nothing beats shooting some of the nets.
Well, and that was a hell of a shot too, by the way.
Headshot.
It's a good
Great
shot.
Well,
composed.
he was designed to make good shots. He doesn't do much else.
Awesome.
He's all
All right.
judgmental and chain smoking.
Well,
Yeah, I should have given him addiction.
right. At this
We
rate,
can always get there later.
true. You never know. We're gonna go ahead and go over to Strange Dice to see what they're up to. But thanks for everybody showing up and being here. I appreciate it, and more to come. So, laters.
Latex, everyone.
Go. Whammy.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Not true.